The NFL is going to go into intensive protocols league wide. The Browns have been in those for 2 weeks. So they're really starting to lock down as these cases start to spike across the country. And the question I wanted to ask each of you is, I think there was some skepticism leading into this season. I think there was probably a point back in the spring when we weren't sure if there would be a season, but here we are, still going strong. Momentum is leading towards a full season. So how do you guys think the NFL has done so far this year? And also them taking this aggressive step to put teams in the intensive protocols?
Well, I think they've done a great job to this point. I actually can't believe that we've gotten through week 10 of the NFL season without a major disruption in the schedule. Without, I mean, all the Browns games have been played. There have been a couple times where I've thought, is this going to happen? But now we're starting to get into some dicey times. And I have to wonder if the house of cards isn't getting ready to fall a little bit here. So, we saw today that potentially the whole entire Raiders starting defense might end up going on the COVID reserve list or is going on the list. We've got these 3 Browns players that are close contacts. We don't know for sure if they're going to make it back in time for the game on Sunday. They hope that they will. And it just seems like we are headed towards just some disruption in the NFL schedule. It just was almost a little too good to be true, but it's a reflection of what's going on in the country right now. And there's just no way that unless you are in that bubble like the NBA was, that you can contain this virus, that you can, let these players go home to their families. They have children, they have spouses, they are having to live their lives. So there was no way that they were going to escape some guys testing positive. And they have contingency plans in terms of the playoffs. They do have a plan B, and I hope they don't have to go to that because I kind of like things the way they are right now with 7, playoff teams from each conference. I don't really want to go to 8. But yeah, so far they've done a great job. We'll see how the next 3 or 4 weeks goes.
Yeah, I've been impressed. The NFL is doing a lot better than college football right now, and that's not surprising. Kids will be kids, as they say. But there's the NFL is a young man's game too, and these are a lot of 20, 21, 22-year-old men who, are living in new areas and have access to things and are having a completely different NFL experience than any season before this. And it's a testament to their discipline, to really all these teams, aside from the Raiders right now. That news kind of just broke before we got on here, as Mary Kay said. But clearly the players are taking this seriously. There's must be a lot of good leadership in the locker room. I feel as if the young players don't want to let the vets down, and everyone's holding themselves accountable. And then you just have, programs, for the Browns, for example, who have been in these protocols for weeks now and remain disciplined. And the biggest and the most impressive thing about all this really is teams that are able to still improve week to week while going through all this COVID mess. And I think you can put the Browns on that list. And that's, when we look back on this season, will probably be the most impressive thing, is that somehow in practice, these teams were still able to get better despite navigating all this nonsense. And the teams that don't have to have their, entire units removed, we haven't seen that yet in the NFL. We'll see how this Raiders things develops. But that is one area that I guess I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen a whole position group get wiped out. But again, that's a testament to the players. They're taking this seriously, that they're maintaining their distance in the facilities, and then when they leave, they're behaving, and they're clearly isolating. And it's a different season, but they're trekking through. And as Mary Kay said, we're entering a tough time now. This is going to be the holidays. I've always wondered, as teams start getting eliminated from the playoffs contention, will they continue to behave as you don't have much to play for? So still a long ways to go, but yeah, to get through 10 weeks without having to have an extra week 18 yet or anything like that, I don't think if you would have asked me in the preseason, would we be here right now, I don't think I'd have said yes.
I think the NFL has done a nice job, but much like the Browns at 6-3, who can't sit here and take victory laps because there's a long ways to go till the playoffs. I think the NFL and the going into the intensive protocols only magnifies this. The NFL understands there's still a long ways to go.